The world has changed, and it's not the first time. Using the Tempest, we were able to intercept intelligence filed from Project Nightfall's headquarters in Barrow, Alaska. Godfather will now explain the actions of the last months. After the Federation targeted the United States with the Odin strikes, a chain of events was set into action. Odin was only the beginning, however. The first sign of the outbreak came from Colorado on the 12th of July, 2018. It appeared as though the crater left by Odin, named 26A, was excreting pheromones from each of its 116 hives that infected surrounding inhabitants. For these people, death came swiftly. The military cordoned off an area for quarantine, however, their actions were in vain. While the military installation was still in Colorado, a new breed of enemy crawled out of Odin's crater. These creatures, later referred to as the cryptid, attacked the army personnel and eviscerated the military installation. While the virus and cryptid spread, an ex-SAS sniper by the name of David Archer was smuggling specimens of cryptid out of Colorado and to an Alaskan research facility titled Nightfall. By the time that the quarantine was in operation, the President of the United States called for a nuclear strike. 4 days later, a nuclear payload was dropped over Colorado. However, the detonation failed. With haste, a 4-man task force was sent into the now infected city with the sole purpose of arming the warhead. After much tribulation, the team drilled deep into barrier hives until they severed the nerve cord. The warhead was armed and the task force evacuated. A day later, on the 25th of July, the nuclear detonation was reported in the press. Days later, the storm hit Colorado, and no further contact was made. With Colorado now a dead zone, focus turned to the Alaskan research. The Nightfall project had a specific aim, which was highlighted inaccurately in its mission statement. Nightfall's mission is to explore the caldera and evaluate the military potential of any new species they might find. The truth of the Nightfall experiments was far more sinister. Captain Archer felt a connection to the cryptid, and his research proved this. It was clear that after Archer's experiments in the hatchery began, new variants of cryptid were appearing. So while the rest of the US was battling the creatures, he was crossbreeding cryptid, striving to create the perfect war machine. We will later understand that the market for such a beast was highly in demand, but that is for another transmission. Nightfall was a large facility, however, we only know of 9 personnel. There was, however, likely more before the outbreak. To understand the capability of Nightfall, we must understand the research team, headed by 2 very different individuals. Dr. Samantha Cross. Dr. Cross was a graduate of Harvard University, studying paleolinguistics. She researched at Nightfall for 6 months. To Godfather, Dr. Cross is known as a polyglot savant, a person with a rare neurological disorder which, in Samantha's case, would allow her to see patterns and translate letters and words. It was her breakthrough paper confirming monogenesis as the format of human evolution that caught Archer's eye. Her understanding of ancient texts and extinct languages and communication platforms would make her invaluable to the Nightfall program. Her focus lied primarily in the decipher of an artifact known only as the obelisk. Created 150 million years ago from glass-based obsidian, she believed that the obelisk was a guiding light for all subsequent languages, sharing links to Sumerian, Mayan, and Akkadian glyphs. For now, we can only assume that Archer found the obelisk in the caverns underneath the Colorado incident. But if this is true, what else did he find? Captain David Archer, Nightfall project leader. Archer was involved with an SAS operation in Pakistan and was leading a 6-man kill team. When the operation was compromised, he and his team took solace in a cave system and awaited evacuation. However, his evacuation request was denied. He spent 6 weeks in the caves, and it is here that he claimed that he first encountered the cryptid. It is safe to assume that as soon as he heard of the Colorado outbreak, he traveled with haste with a team of scientists to extract as many specimens as possible. His reasoning was simple. He believed that he could use the specimens to create a controllable super cryptid, which would have obvious benefits in future military operations. He moved the specimens to an Alaskan base and headed the Nightfall research team. Almost 4 months into Dr. Cross's research, Archer persuaded her to take time away from her translations and took her to the hatchery, where she was presented with the first of Archer's creations, a creature codenamed the Breeder. In that moment, she immediately understood Archer's motives. And now for a closer evaluation of the term cryptid. From research undertaken at Nightfall, we can deduce much about the cryptid. But what of the term cryptid? There is vast speculation about the denomination. However, personally, I feel that the name examines the habitation that the creatures would use as refuge. An underground ecosystem, a crypt, that by all accounts was fed by geothermal induction. Archer believes that the cryptids share a timeline with humans and claims that we humans are hardwired to fear the screams of the cryptid. At no juncture does Archer state a lineage crossover period, however he deduces that it was a prehistoric event. With features like a mandible or an extended jaw, we can safely assume that the cryptid are vertebrates and share a common ancestry with amphibians and reptiles. One denomination of cryptid titled Seekers have a vestigial tail, hinting at a fairly recent macroevolution. The Seekers are only found in areas covered by the storm. The cryptid are believed to have stemmed from the Permian period of Earth's existence almost 300 million years ago, and appear to have achieved not only a mutualistic relationship with plant life, but they have acquired complete symbiosis with their own breed of fauna known as hives. The hives release pheromones that allow the cryptid to regrow cells and heal themselves with extreme speed. The full extent of the relationship between cryptid and hive is unknown, but future research may add clarity. It is clear that the cryptid survived the Permian-Triassic meteor extinction event by burrowing underground and encasing themselves in time capsules, known to Archer as arcs. Approximately 5 months into the Nightfall research program, the outbreak occurred. The cryptid escaped from the hatchery and ripped their way through all of the personnel of the facility, all except Archer, who was in hiding, and Dr. Cross. Curiously, Dr. Cross was able to interact with the cryptid. They were not driven to kill her. The opposite, in fact. They appeared to be protecting her. After weeks of darkness, Archer desperately tried to call for evacuation. He called 28 of his high-level and currently unknown contacts, stating that he was willing to sacrifice his research data for a clear exit path, a ship, and a crew. He knew that he had only 18 hours before the storm would reach the Alaskan base, and all would be lost. By this time, Dr. Cross had sabotaged the program, but Archer knew that without her, he would never be able to open what he referred to as the gates of the underworld. He knew that she would not come without a fight. The Americans sent a team of 4 to the Nightfall Research Center, and upon arrival, the storm had already set in. They battled the remnants of Cryptid, even the Breeder, whose awesome ability almost spelled the end of the team. The team made their way through Dr. Cross's research lab, through Archer's laboratory with his trusted L-115, and into the warehouse. It was here that they found Dr. Cross, in the test control room for a weapon called Venom X. Through the glass, she communicates with the team. But it is too late. A door behind her opens and Archer shoots her, but keeps her alive. The cryptid quickly surround him, but it is safe to assume that they did not attack. They knew that without her, they would be eviscerated. Dr. Cross's location is currently unknown. Archer has her now. Leave a like for further intelligence.